She's back. So good to see her back. And this story takes place in a fictional universe where a global elite fights hidden wars that determine the fate of nations. For our agents, the rules are simple. Do whatever it takes to win. Sometimes that means going rogue, eliminating targets outside the law. Call it an extrajudicial, call it a black ops, call it dirty. This is a world where we write the rules because the stakes are always higher, the threats more personal, and the enemy always lurking around the corner. In a moment, you'll meet Ambush Point, Night Strike. Layla knew trouble when she saw it. Trouble like a second skin, trouble like a language she understood backwards and forwards. So when she peered over the ridge and saw the road below, she already knew something was wrong. The road was a narrow choke point between scrub and half-finished concrete, perfect for an ambush. 3 figures moving like they belonged in the dirt. One kneeling at the base of an unfinished building, another slumped but watchful near a heap of tires, a third ferrying supplies back and forth from a parked truck. All 3 were casual, careless, which meant they shouldn't be there at all. Her skin went cold. This wasn't just a security detail. This was an execution team. And the convoy would pass here in less than 24 hours. She should have called Carlo. She should have reported and waited. But the clock in her head beat faster than the time it would take to get an answer. Waiting risked the convoy and the ambassador. She made the decision herself. Night came like a curtain. Layla moved through shadow as if it were a cloak. She skirted the compound, slipped through a worker's access, and climbed to the second floor of the unfinished building. The place smelled of wet concrete and old smoke. From the window opening, she could see the cigarette glow of the lookout and the slow breathing of the man in the truck. She didn't hesitate. Her approach was feline, silent, small, every step measured. When the lookout pivoted, Layla closed the distance in 2 strides. A muffled pistol shot aimed to stop, not kill, struck leather. The man crumpled, a sharp sound cut off by the hand over his mouth. She bound him quickly, fingers deft and practiced, and dragged him down out of sight. On the ground floor, another figure rounded a corner. Layla waited in the dark and hit him with a precise, bone-shaking strike that folded him into the dust. Mouth gagged, limbs secured, he was as useless as a broken tool. The third man, asleep in the truck, was slower to wake. A single knock on the window, a blunt blow, and he went down. Layla worked with the same calm suddenness she used when she ran. Cuff, gag, tape. No noise, no panic. Just the steady rhythm of a woman who had been trained to move like a shadow and think 3 moves ahead. Back on the second floor, with all 3 neutralized. She found the device's controller among the nearest man's fatigues. She seized it, eyes scanning, heart steady. Instead of fiddling with circuits or wires, she made it inert in the only way she trusted in the field. She rendered the detonator useless and removed it from play. No tinkering, no instructions, just certainty that the immediate threat had been taken off the table. She did not waste time. Bound man, gagged and breathing. She pressed her thumb to his jaw until he answered. She didn't need long. Names, a route, an order, enough to map the network behind the hit. The men were foot soldiers. Someone else gave the money and the timing. The picture that emerged was small but dangerous. The attack would be clean and deadly if left alone. She called Carlo. Her voice through the satellite line was compact, clipped, mission voice. I have control of the site. Device neutralized for now. I'll detonate on my mark once the convoy passes. Move the ambassador's route by 10 minutes if you can. Carlo's reply was breath, low and certain. Do what you must. Take care. She felt a sliver of something. Relief, approval, something warmer, but left it there. There was work to do. Dawn thinned the sky. The town woke in slow, sleepy motions, vendors hauling trays, bicycles clattering, the world oblivious to the calculus of death a few meters away. Layla took up position with a clear view of the choke point. Her breathing matched the distant hum of the road. Every sound was a drumbeat, every shadow a potential risk. The convoy arrived, armored vehicles, 1 car carrying the ambassador's insignia, sliding through the junction 5 meters from where the device lay. Layla watched them pass, counting heartbeats. The engine noise swallowed her entire world for a moment. Then the last vehicle was gone. She stood, turned casually, and walked to the abandoned worker's truck. The detonator in her palm felt like a tiny, terrible thing. She waited until she judged herself at a safe distance, then pressed the button. The explosion was immediate, raw and deafening. Concrete groaned as the unfinished building folded in on itself. Dust and a high, choking cloud rose like a curtain. Birds took off in frantic waves. Below, men and innocents stopped and stared, the morning's routine ruptured by violence that was meant to be controlled. Layla felt the blast's heat on her face, tasted metal and dust in the air, and for one heartbeat she let herself feel the adrenaline rush, not the triumph of destruction, but the brittle relief that comes when something horrible was stopped on the edges. She moved fast. She left the scene before any local authority could arrive and blend again into the town, a woman with a bag, an empty look, a few miles away when the first official sirens wailed. She called Carlo. His voice was steady, but there was a quiet edge she had not heard before. Report. She breathed, gave him only the facts. Device detonated after convoy passed. No collateral civilian casualties reported so far. Suspects captured and neutralized. She added one sentence that was half professional, half something person. Labay is safe. There was a fraction of a pause, then Carlo's voice, softer than it had any right to be. Good work. Come in. Regroup. We'll debrief. Dust still in her hair, adrenaline buzzing under her skin. Layla started walking toward the rendezvous point. Under the dry morning sun, she felt both the weight and the shape of the life she had chosen, necessary, lonely, a place where the line between glory and grief was thin as a razor. And somewhere behind that razor, Carlo's presence waited like the memory of an embrace, steady, unreadable, impossibly close.
At the luxurious penthouse, Carlo debriefed her informing of the successful mission of Ambassador Gian Labay, which resulted to all tribes uniting and fighting the industrial conglomerate big bosses, resulted to finally bringing the matters of dumping nuclear waste into court. Now the legal fights begins, which most of nation supports to bring those culprits into justice. All is going well, until Carlo dropped the bomb on Layla after her successful intervention in failed ambush on Ambassador. There was an order hit on her, a whooping $100 million reward for anyone that can take down Layla, dead or alive. The worry on Carlos' voice is noticeable. He cannot help Layla until the ambassador is out of the country and secure. He said to Layla, "Hey, princess, start the extraction plan. Strictly follow it now and coordinate with Chloe Faith. You must get out of this country as soon as possible." Carlo embraced Layla this time, longer and more passionate, almost on the verge of almost kissing her, but on the last second hesitated again, showing professionalism. Layla's heart almost melt by Carlos' gesture. In this kind of work, personal feelings are set aside, but sometimes this personal feelings fueled her desire to succeed and alive. Tomorrow, the ambassador's delegation will depart and return to Philippines. I want you in our country not later than 24 hours. Carlo said to Layla while still embracing her. Then after a while, Carlo gathered his things and prepared to leave, leaving Layla with a smile that brightened her day, lift up her burden. After Carlo was long gone, she dialed Chloe Faith's number, and on the first ring, "Hello, princess," Chloe Faith said. "Your extraction plan is already laid out. From where you are right now, there is a black suburban SUV park, keys already at ignition. There's a food supply there for 2 days' worth, a map of Pakistan. You will find there your extraction site. Be there on time. Be careful. Hitmen are looking for you. I will try to arrange a help from our friends at MAO 10. That's our friends at English Special Service, but don't expect too much." And the line went dead. She walked out, and right there she saw the black SUV. Keys inside, she get inside and started the vehicle and follow what is said to her by her handler. She drives north, and it seems she will be driving mountainous and deserted plains. She executed some diversionary tactics by driving around town before she go directly to her destination, and occasionally looking for tails. After driving 8 hours, she pulled aside the highway to study the landscape ahead by consulting her map. 3 more hours driving there will be a choke point. A nice place for a ambush. Then after of that choke point, plain and flat desert for 100 kilometers. She is guessing what kind of extraction Chloe Faith have prepared for her. It must be airborne extraction, she said to herself. But first she must survive this choke point. She study carefully the landmass and formulate an action plan if it come to worst. When is about 500 meters before the choke point? She turned off the headlight of the vehicle. She donned the NVG night vision scope. The night turned green, and anything with heat signatures register to her scope, easily identifying if it is human or animals. She slowly continued driving when she noticed to her left, 150 meters away, a blinding flash. She knew right away that his RPG aimed at her. She gunned the vehicle into high RPM. The vehicle responded, and almost leaping, the RPG exploded several yards from her, and from that moment, gunfire erupted, hitting her vehicle. Then the same time her phone rang, connected to her Bluetooth device, she answered, "Talk, I am busy." A calmer voice on the other end said, "Continue driving. We are going to give you a cover fire." Those voices are familiar but only heard once, and it's been a long time. Meanwhile, the YAMETE sister, Lovenami 76 and Firewolf, a twin sister from the English agency MAO 10, is busy giving a good fight. Lovenami, using an automatic rifle with grenade launcher, is pouring a hellstorm of bullets down to the opposition 100 meters. Firewolf, using a sniper rifle, sniping any targets she see in her scope. Meanwhile, Layla is hit in her upper shoulder when the first volley of gunfire, but she can still drive and the vehicle is still functional. She gunned and accelerated more, passing the choke point. Then she hear again in her phone, "Princess, there's a C-17 plane waiting for you 100 meters ahead. Go right to it. We are going to cover you." Layla maneuver the vehicle inside the big airplane, then before the ramp closed, two figures enters the plane. Firewolf and Lovenami smiling, dressed in night full black battle dress uniform. They greet Layla and tease her. "Hey princess, what a party, huh?" Then the plane lift off, crossing the airspace and going to London. Now safely on the plane, and the plane is 25,000 feet in the air, going to London. Layla finally breath and start to administer first aid to her wound. The YAMETE sister sitting beside her, Lovenami, said to her, "We are proud of you, princess. You pull off a nice big disaster by your intervention in the ambassador's ambush. You really hit them hard." Firewolf jokingly teased her and said, "Hey princess, you must be in love, huh? Pulling that kind of gig is not easy, but you blow them into smithereen." And by just that, the three operators went to their stories back in Fortin in girly manners. Then her phone rang. "It's Carlo. Are you all right? Are you hurt?" Carlo asked. She reported what happened in short version, and reserving the complete version on the debriefing. Then she hung up. Lovenami said to her to try catch up some rest and sleep if possible. They will be in London after 4 hours. Upon landing at the Air Force airfield, an ambulance is waiting for them. Layla was transferred into it, accompanied by the twin sisters. She was brought to an undisclosed military hospital for a recovery and recuperation. During her recovery, thoughts coming to her. Is it the life she want to? Is it the life she want to pursue? What her parents will say if they learn what really is true? Where it will go? Will Carlo be there at the end of it?